Working on it.
Hi, kiddies. Once again, thank you very much for coming to Dallas Comic Show. Shows like this need to thrive and prosper because you need to have a level that's not you're spending the entire day in a line, spending a ton of money on autographs, spending a ton of money on photo ops. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making shows like this prosper. And tell your friends that they suck for not being here because you're having a much better time than they are this weekend. Our guest for the next hour is a ridiculously talented actor. You know his work from Terminator, you know it from Aliens, you know it from Tombstone, you know it from so many amazing products, and you get to talk to him for the next hour. Please give a massive Dallas Comic Show welcome, Mr. Michael Biehn!
Coming out. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. So, I love doing these, but I don't like being filmed. He was my writer, and it's in the script that said, is there any role in the movie that you'd like to play? And I read it, and I told my agent, the big agent, mine, one, having no guilt, and applied for it, a lot of people saying, you know, and I said, yes, that's the role that, you know, I mean, there's nothing to do, you know, like that, the role I want to play. And acting no good role in the season. He's an acting no good role, good acting, threatening the video. And then there too went by, and my agent called me, yeah, it looks like that part might be going to development. And they said, he said, is there anything in the movie that you might want to watch? I said, no. Just because as an actor, you can like hone in and go like, this guy's important. You know, this is an important character to the piece. He helped drive the narrative of the Cowboys, you know. And it was a very, very troubled production. The writer and director of it, Kevin Jarre, was a great writer. This is the first time that he was going to have a chance to direct. And he wanted his muse for writing the script was Lisa Biehn, who was very famous sister. And said no. You know, we need somebody more popular. And I think that hurt him quite a bit. And then with Patsy Biehn and Elaine in that role. And then Lisa Zane was supposed to play his first tape. So they said, well, you can't have this role, you can have this role. So once they started doing in the rehearsals, now, from what I hear, had some problem with her. And so they let it go. So, I mean, the whole reason the movie was made was because of her, and that's money. And he was very, very, very rigid about like, we're doing it my way, and then you're my way. What? No, my way. And, you know, again, Kurt Russell on that movie, Kurt been acting since he was like 5. Nice guy, too. Kind of guy that sit down and go, listen, you know, like, he didn't want to hear anything from Kurt. He didn't want to hear anything from Dalton. He didn't want to hear anything from, like, you know. And he didn't quite understand making a film with an ensemble. I mean, if you're working for Cameron, Spielberg, you know, some of these guys, you're probably not going to change very much. But even with Jim, many times I've come to the end that the line doesn't feel right, or maybe you put the line first, second, and clean this out. I think you want to say this, but could I say it like that? And if a good filmmaker has confidence, he'll know that it's good for his movie, and he'll take the advice. A filmmaker without the confidence will go, oh, this guy knows stuff better than me. You know, start fighting on it, you know. But Kevin was very, very, he had an Academy Award winning DP on the movie. He shot Chinatown, and I mean, he's like this incredible guy. And he wanted to shoot it a certain way, and Kevin wanted to shoot it like Kevin wanted to, which is like the old-fashioned way, the master, you know. And after 4 weeks of shooting, and I had Kevin in my trailer about a week before he got fired. I said, Kevin, you really gotta, you gotta start listening to this guy. You know, you can't make the movie yourself. You can't tell everybody how to do his job, you know. It's a collapse, it's like playing on a football team, you know. You don't do it all, you don't tell every person on the coaching team and quarterback, you don't tell every person in film how to do everything they're going to do exactly. And you just, you know, you just didn't quite get it. And he was he had an image in his mind of what he wanted that movie to do. About 4 weeks to fire. So we had a 120-page script, which is a long movie. And Disney said, well, we're going to close it down. And Kurt Russell, producer, Jim Jacks, said, well, let us take a look at the script here, and let's see what we can get rid of. Let's see what we can use with Kevin shot. And so they basically took that 120 script and ripped 30 pages out of it, right? It was originally a much greater story. If you go back in history and you look at the shootout at OK Corral, there are a lot of people that think that the Earth just went down there and murdered those three guys. There were three guys hung over, and each had one Colt or pistol on them, whatever they were carrying. They used to carry 5 bullets in their chamber, whatever you call it, because if you drop the gun or whatever, it could accidentally go off. So you would always have an empty chamber unless something was going to happen. So they had 12 bullets between them, and the Earth going down there, and they were all double holes, 3 of them, and then Doc Holliday had the shotgun, and he just went down there and fucking massacred. And in history, there was an Inquisition. There was an investigation, and it was very, very possible the Earth were going to be brought up in Doc Holliday for murder. And there was, like it's kind of like the O.J. Simpson, one group thought one way and one group thought the other way. And they didn't end up getting indicted or whatever it was at the time. But, the way that I looked at it is they just went down and kind of massacred the guys, and then the Cowboys group exists. So they took it out on the Earth. And a lot of the story is true, a lot of it is not true. And Doc Holliday didn't take anything in there. And nobody really knows what happened to them. They found him dead. But when the movie came out, it came out to like reviews, box office, made its money back, but, you know, here we are, 30 years later, and in the last 10 years, I probably had 5,000 views on the Facebook. I mean, you can't compare Tombstone really with Shane, you know, some of these older movies, 12 O'Clock High and stuff like that. But other movies that were done, you know, kind of in our era. My favorite movie is the Clint Eastwood movie with
Magnificent.
Unforgiven. I mean, me, Unforgiven is like, that is like, you know, he's got a line in that. It's one of my favorite lines in all of film, and that's like the line that goes something like, and it's not quoting me exactly, but it goes something like, when you kill a man, you take everything he has and everything that he would have ever had, you know. And it's kind of, I know I didn't say it quite right, but it's a really strong line. It's one of my favorite lines in film. And so, Tombstone was Terminator. And we talked about Terminator last night. Terminator, you know, was a movie that when I was sent the script, you asked me last night, well, what do you think of the script? And I read the script and I thought, well, okay. Now everybody says that they read the script and oh my God, this is what. It's telling me, you know. I mean, I read it and it seemed like, okay, the guy coming back to the future to save a woman who worked with Bob Big Boy, and there was a machine following him, and you know, that movie, somebody else directed it. It would have been really stupid. Really stupid. And so I asked my agent, I said, well, you know, I saw they were good by Biehn. I said, well, who's directing it? And he said, Jim Cameron. And I said, who's Jim Cameron? And they said, well, what's he done? Well, he worked a lot over Roger Corman, Justin Sutton, and so on and so forth. And he did work on a movie. He did start directing a movie called Piranha 3, but he got fired. Dale Hurd. Who's Dale Hurd? Now, this time I had done some work, you know. So I was kind of beginning to realize you kind of had to pick and choose, you know, good stuff, and who's Dale Hurd? Dale Hurd, she is a producer, producing it. And I thought, what did she do? Well, she never really produced anything before. She worked with Roger Corman also. For you people that don't know Roger Corman, the guy made a lot of B movies. It gave a lot of young directors a start. I mean, Boxcar Bertha was a movie that
Scorsese.
And Eat My Guts was another movie that and so, I mean, he gave a lot of people kind of a chance at times, you know, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who directed movies for him. But, okay, so I'm reading the script, it seems pretty ridiculous, and I've got a director that's never done anything, but what he did, he got fired off of. And I said, well, okay, is there any actors set for this? And they said, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, you have to remember that at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not a movie star. Arnold Schwarzenegger was, he had done Conan, the Barbarian. And he was obviously a comedian. And people knew who he was. They needed a big name to get that movie, you know. I think they talked about O.J. Simpson. They needed some sort of name to get that movie. Because I wasn't anybody that could spend $6 million for it. But he wasn't the same. When I was a young actor at that time, you know, I wanted to be like Robert De Niro. I wanted to be like Al Pacino. I wanted to be like Dustin Hoffman, Jack Nicholson, Robert Redford, you know, Jack Lemmon, you know. Those are the guys that I admired. And Arnold really didn't fit in the at that time. There's no older now, and I don't know if any of you ever listened to Bill Burr.
Yeah.
He was a comedian. But he does a great bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he, you know, that guy's never should have gotten past like loading fucking temporary. Because he's such a great man, you know. He moved to America because he was a bodybuilder, you know. He became famous. Bill Burr said, I didn't do famous. But he just was always doing it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's total career is one of like one shocking thing after another. You know, I'm gonna marry Kennedy. What? I never married Kennedy. I'm gonna become the governor of a state that I can't pronounce. He's the governor. So he was very underrated at the time. But I knew, one thing that I knew was that character, the way it was written, was I knew I could play that character. I understood it was like this, like mean, fighting machine, but you kind of have this heart of gold, you know, and he's in love with Sarah. And I knew right away that even if the movie was terrible, that I could play that character and come out of it, nobody would say, well, Michael Biehn did that. Michael Bihn's performance was, you know, not very good, you know. So I basically signed on. I wanted to do it. And I wanted to play that character, and I felt I could play that character and get away unscathed, no matter how bad the movie was. So Arnold's option got picked up for Conan 2. Conan and we were supposed to start shooting, and Dino Laurentiis, you know, said no, he has to shoot the sequel to Conan. So that gave me and Jim and everybody that was getting ready to go to work on the Terminator 3 months, you know, to kind of wait around for Arnold to come back, start shooting. And that's when I really got to know Jim Cameron. And that's when I went down to Stan Winston's special effects house. And Stan Winston was around doing 7 Academy Awards or something like that. And when I went in and I saw these guys working on the Terminator and how they were going to pull this off, you know. And Jim, who was a great artist himself, and scheduler and so on and so forth, you know, you went in there and they were pretty serious, you know. They weren't, you know, and stuff that they were doing, they were kind of good, you know. So I spent a month kind of hanging around with Jim, and when I realized that this guy was kind of special, you know, and that he was incredibly smart. And so I kind of went all in. Okay, I'm all in there. And then they asked Linda, and Linda is probably, you know, they asked me who's my favorite actor. Who's my favorite actor that I used to do? Now, my wife's sitting down there. But, Linda Hamilton is she has so much empathy, you know, for other people. And she really cares how you're doing, you know, and she really, she's funny, she's really funny, and she's funny, she works hard, and all that kind of stuff. It's something about Linda that most people don't have, which is empathy for other people, mankind, anybody. I mean, I've never met anybody that ever had a bad word. And I'm talking about people that I've met over time, people that have always said, wonderful. Cindy felt that when you're working with them, and a lot of people have been in the con and stuff like that. And they say, it's so hard. And you told me your story, right?
He was one of the guests of honor at the 2010 Dallas National Film Festival. Mark Walters, who runs the Dallas Comedy Show, and I were doing a web series. We were live on the red carpet night at the festival. And it was opening night, gala thing, everybody, no one had anything to do with our podcast. So they're striking out left and right. Our producers trying to grab people. We're getting ready to wrap up. We're starting to line tables. And then Walter's words and said, actually, just coming out of the theater now. And I said, well, go get him. And go get him? I mean, it's not past a second to watch him. But he wound up saying, yeah, I'd love to. And how long did you? Well, you have 5 minutes. We just wanted to get some, a couple of great quotes from you, having on the broadcast. And he sits down with us for a good 30 minutes. And we talk about his entire career at that point. And of course, we just done like 2 or 3 weeks back to back. Love talking about that. We talked about what it's like. That was the person we wanted to, and we had a couple of sent them. And every single time, the room lit up whenever Paxton came into it, because he brought that wonderful energy that he had over and over and over. And his presence was missed in the community. It was missed with everybody who knew him from when he grew up here in Weatherford. And it was such an amazing.
Yes, and we worked together in 5 films. So we spent the equivalent of a year together, on a set. And we got to be very good friends after we did Lord the first movie I did where I played. It was based on a Pat Conroy novel. It was about the first black cadet considered Southern military. And there was some group who didn't want the black. And I was the antagonist. The usual antagonist. Turned out so Bill's like I tried to get our point. He hadn't done a lot of acting, but when you're working with somebody, you get close. And when you're on the same team, you get close. And when so Bill and I got very, very close on that movie. And we became friends. And we stayed friends, along with the band with Rock, who left the business 5 years later or so. He worked with Steve Martin in Rockland. And but he got enough of it, and he was part of his fine. He went on to with his wife. He lived in Kennedy, and he was all together. Get a year off his work, and the whole thing. The land of the free. But we have more people in prison, so anyway, so Bill and I got to be really close. and Terminator came out. Now everybody thinks Terminator. When we hear Terminator, they go, "Oh, Terminator, let's go see it." You know. Well, the first one was directed by Biehn, and he wrote it. The second one was written by Biehn, and he wrote it. And I actually was the casting. I was like, my agent called me. And, I worked with it, looking back on different veterans, and that never happened. And I'm like, whatever. I'm working on something. It's literally amazing, and that, and down. So, but I knew, it was disappointing that, I wasn't going to be in it, but I could understand why he wouldn't want to work with me. He did it right afterwards. It turns out that I directly see how fun it was. Whatever. But, so they went over to England. I went to Sweden, and they were shooting beginning to Sweden, and they had been there for, all the actors had been there for a couple of weeks. They were in Hannah and Ellen, and so we, and so Biehn, who was a really nice guy, and really got his act together. Great in a couple of movies early on, 48 Hours, Hot Club, The Warrior. I mean, he did incredible actor, but he had himself, which he talked about. At least the last 30 years. And so, like, he's a very, very nice guy.
When you get a call to get on set, or how did that work?
Can you put your phone down?
That's right. And once again, please, you came in late, please, no video of the panel at all. When we got the call, we need you to get on set, and you're in LA, we need you to get on set in England on the weekend. What was your reaction back then when you're looking at it and saying, I guess working with family, and this is part of it, you have to want to shoot with it. What was your reaction back then?
I'm thrilled. That's really different from what happened. I mean, it was like, what? They'll call me on a Friday morning, said, "Is your passport in order?" And I said, "Yes." And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be abrupt, but I certainly didn't realize that you worked with it. Anyway, for me, I had worked with Jim and Dale before, so they knew me and I knew them. So it wasn't like coming into a company that like I didn't know anything, And I also worked with Bill before, and we had done organizations plan and and we were always hanging out. So I knew I had a friend there, and so it was very easy for me to drop into that production, especially while they were shooting, especially because, people go, "Hey, how do you learn all these lines?" and so on and so forth. I mean, I think I said this last night too. I it takes about 5 pages out of a 110-page script and put all Gibbs's dialogue on those 5 pages. I mean, that's how much he talked about. He was that quiet kind of guy. And he thought he was, he wasn't like that. And so it was so much fun. When I got there, Sigourney turned out to be great. I didn't know Sigourney. She turned out to be, she works and works and works. She loves working. And so when you have when you got Cameron is already, working, things are gonna move, and you don't wanna get like, you don't wanna feel like, if you hear that like someone is on the set and you're not there, you get there in a hurry, Jim Cameron doesn't wait for anything, but, and it's just annoying, you shouldn't have to wait for like a little after act. They should all be there, going to show up, and that's the way it is. But she was great, she was very good, very hard work, and she's not protected at this. They was not going to do it until they needed to. I'm on the telephone, I'll be out in 10 minutes. I mean, that was not, I'm actually to, okay, I'll be there, and then 15 minutes later, they have the knock again, and, they hold up for that, struggling. And she worked very, very hard. Her work ethic is very out of her work itself. And she just, I just forgot, I have a 2-year-old son, I'm trying to find that. He's stuck on Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. I've seen Jurassic Park 17 times. And now that I've seen it, can anybody explain to me exactly what happened to Jeff Goldblum? How he heard his way?
He was so when the T-Rex comes out and he's walking towards the restaurant and the wind is and when the T-Rex is reflected in the T-Rex, right? So he ran away from the place and he did not that way. When you go there, the T-Rex is behind you, lift him up. That's how you do it.
The T-Rex lift him up?
Yeah,
Kicks him, yeah.
I just said that. Oh, okay. Because I thought I've watched it a couple times and I just see a quick shot of him like going down the ground.
Right before that 2 seconds, and the next scene is obvious, and you can't believe that. Nobody comes down and the water.
Well, that's,
That's what happened right after.
That was great. Glad you're here.
If you have any more questions.
Very good. I want to talk a little bit about Al Matthews, who played Sergeant Miss Lofton. Decorated Marine after the first African American Marine to be devoted to the rank of sergeant. I'm curious what your memories were working about.
Al was kind of alone. He was older than everybody there. And I think he had more world experience than anybody that was there. And I had talked to Vietnam, he kind of like, or I've been in Vietnam, he didn't talk much. He was kind of, one of those guys that like, he was nice enough. And I many things with him, and he was certainly professional, but I was hanging out with Bill, and they were shooting Full Metal Jacket at the same time over there, and Dennis and Raphael, me and Bill used to go out, and the dollar was like on typical Saturday, who was originally supposed to play the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, but the Army, who was brought in as a technical advisor, kind of decided, well, he put on his uniform, and, there's always the question of whether, he kind of had that planned out all along. Jimmy we'd all lived in Chelsea, which is like the Beverly Hills / Melrose, Los Angeles. Beverly Hills, but it's very like, funky and fun, and, it's what it's used, always had, and we were staying there, and Jimmy lived right, I had a great house, and Jimmy lived in the basement apartment we rented out to him. So I got to know Timmy very well, and Timmy and I stayed friends. I talked to him 2 days ago. We probably played racquetball every day for about 10 years. And Timmy, I was with Timmy the day the casting director came to his door and gave him the note They said that he was feeling like, you know, which was, pretty brutal. And they had him out there for a month, rehearsing him, rehearsing him, rehearsing him. And then they were telling they were going to shoot something. And then they wouldn't shoot him. They rehearsed him, and rehearsed him, rehearsed. And, I saw what Timmy went through. And for that reason, I don't really like people. You know, I saw what he did to that guy. And Timmy was a Vietnam vet, you know, and he was no, you know, football, college wrestler, and, you know. And Jimmy ended up playing with Georgia in Full Metal Jacket. And if anybody's seen Full Metal Jacket, one of the most memorable scenes in the entire movie is Biehn asking the Georgia, how does he kill women and children? You know, and he laughed. Ah, easy. You just don't read them as much, you know. They war hell, you know. And really a very memorable part of that movie, which is a very, very, very good movie. But Sandy Kubrick did 50 days, and the way he did the actors, they shot that movie for 2 years. When I was over there shooting, when I went over there, they were already shooting Full Metal Jacket, and they went over to the pre-production. Then we shot Alien 2, we released it in the theater, they were still shooting Full Metal Jacket. And all the actors, basically, they all wanted to work with Stanley Kubrick, so they all sent him to the end. They never laid anyone, and never laid one. Vietnam, everybody wanted to be in it. Somebody told me that John Film actually sent in all the actors were sending his tape. Then he sent in his tape and he got down. And then he told me that Ballard sent in his tape for the Jordan. And which seems a little odd, but by that time maybe some of the other teams probably going to work with the movies. You know, some of these movies are like really brilliant, but like I just don't like. I saw what he did. Jimmy was a pretty tough guy, and Jimmy spent almost a year on that. And there were other actors, and they all went over there to work with him. So they all went over there on very low pay, you know, almost like scale around. Except for maybe Matthew, but most of the other people were pretty unknown. And so when we were over there, it was like, why is it? And but anyway, so we used to go out at night. I mean, it was London, it was the 80s, the dollar was strong, it was just like, it was just so much. I mean, we could party and just had such a great, great time. It's kind of the end of this. Anyway, we had a great time. And the sets, the thing that was great about working on Alien is that when you work on any movie, you don't really know ahead of time. And the good is right. And you hope it's going to be good. Usually the read the script and you're like, this is good. This is good director. You got a good actor. This should be really good, you know. But it isn't always that way. You know, you get movies like this, you know. And these great people are involved in it, you know. I mean, Spielberg saw a movie in 1941. Is that it? Yeah. Belushi, I mean, all this great talent. Hell, you know. And so you never really know, but people were starting to realize the Terminator. When Terminator came out, nobody thought like, oh my God, it's a great movie. You know, it comes down, it's just the reviews was kind of like, whatever. attended a big fight with a review from, Wall Street Journal. He said something that did something really interesting on, and, you know, it was, you know, and it made, $40 million, I think it made $40 million, which is good because it was going into the system. So Orion and Hemdell did very well with that. If they would have known what they had, would have started putting in more data, they would have made a lot more money. But they didn't, and that's that story. The year the Terminator came out, wasn't in the top 20 box office movies of the year. But about that time, not VHS, about the time VHS started kind of coming into people's homes. Most people saw that movie on VHS, it got very popular on VHS. Biehn went on to do Alien, and then maybe Two Live, or what, I forget what the exact was. It was first, and then Two Live after that. Yeah, VHS, right, and then Two Live. And then he went back to the, by that time, people had seen it enough on their, well, I don't think it was on, but on VHS that it was popular. So we went into that movie thinking, it's set for like walking on set, like walking into a football stadium. It was kind of experience, and it was incredible. They were doing also Al Pacino. Horrible. That movie, horrible movie called Revolution. If you ever want to watch Al Pacino in a bad movie, and he's a brilliant actor. He's a brilliant actor. When I always say, people talk about movies, which movie is better, you know, what time period, and Biehn and Brando and all that, and what's going on now, and Philip Seymour Hoffman and whatever, the movies that were being made. For me, and maybe it was just because at the time I was growing up, that if you took Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Robert Redford, and Al Pacino, Baby's another one, Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, De Niro, Chino, Robert Redford, you know, and those movies, to me, are the best movies in the history of film. Those movies were one movie, The Truth Is Next. Those movies were The Godfather. Those movies were back when they weren't a branch of some other huge company that just wanted profit. So, you know, we got back to the series, but, you know, we got Terminator Part 9, 5, 6, Alien Part, you know, whatever. And all the Marvel movies, you know, I mean, those, like, you know, those, but anyway, so that's how I feel. Somebody else might go like, well, you know, when I was young, you know, Humphrey Bogart was like, and then the kids these days like Taxi Driver. Man, that's really depressing, you know. I'd rather watch, you know, Captain America. So, I mean, maybe it's just my age bracket, but those are the guys that I wanted to emulate.
Well, also, when you're a director and you're trying to do something really a franchise, even a film adaptation of a comic book or a novel, where it's an established property. The studio don't want to spend the money on a $20-30 million production on something that people don't ready. And that's why it would be a lot harder for James Cameron to put a Terminator out today, because you had to say, well, the time traveling guy, and he's trying to say the time traveling robot, and he's going to kill the world. Then it's a studio like, okay, we'll find here's $20,000 you can put out on YouTube. Yeah, it's
well, I mean, the business game so much where like people always feel so always saying, you know, how do I, you know, get in that?
Somebody wake up, Hicks.
Probably had a double shift and so, serious along. It's so different now. And there's so much things that we can watch. Different, you know, everything from the original Mickey Mouse to, you know, Blippi and people are now making their own movies in Wisconsin and in Florida, and you know they have film festivals for people who make movies with the telephone. And so I tell people that I say, well, how do I get into acting? I said, and this is what Robert Rodriguez taught me.
Yeah.
And I've only directed one movie, and he taught me that you just go do it. You know, you don't ask questions, you don't like, just do it, you know. And that's what Jim Cameron said to me years ago about Robert. He said, Robert's brilliant, and for Jim Cameron to call somebody brilliant is, you know, I don't think I've ever heard him say that about anybody. I'm sure there were a lot of people who thought it. And, but, you know, back then, he was that kind of guy. He did his own sound, he did his own camera, he did his own editing. He's like, you know, I'm going to do this. He said the brilliance of Robert Rodriguez at that time was he didn't know he couldn't do it. But he just did it. And that's what I tell anybody who wants to get involved in film, totally now. Can you write? You can't write. Find somebody who can write. Find a story, you know. Write a little short. Write a little 15-minute story. And then everybody wants to act. Everybody wants to do it. Easy to find, you know. You can cut it together on your telephone, you know. You can use source music. And so these days, the content that is out there, even for grown-ups now, I mean, if you want to watch, you know, a television show about guys killing crocodiles, there's like 3 different, you know, shows about guys killing crocodiles, you know. If you want to watch a show about, like, you know, pastry, it's like 4 different, like, networks. I mean, the content is so spread out now. I mean, when I was younger, and there was ABC, NBC, CBS, and then Fox came along. And now there's like Netflix, and YouTube is starting with original programming. There's Hulu, there's, you know, and so there's literally thousands of things go up. I mean, basically, for entertainment, for me, I go on YouTube and I just start looking around, and within like 2 or 3 minutes, I find, oh, documentary about, you know, whoever, and I'll sit and watch that, you know, or the president's last speech, or, you know, whatever. I mean, so I truly believe that people don't believe me necessarily, but I think Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks are going to be the last true movie stars. Because there's too much content out there now. I mean, we used to have to watch those 3 channels, you know. Now you can watch anything you want. Even as a child, you got 1,000 different places of things to watch. So it's completely different. So when I was a kid, I mean, you know, film and cutting it together and shooting it on the camera, and, you know, different. And technology itself is something that I watched Eli Musk speak at, I think, South by Southwest. You watch that? You know, there should be some, laws. You start understanding that technology is moving faster than we are. And, you know, I don't have my phone on me, but he said already we're all that's the beginning of the computer age, and that's the beginning of what, and Stephen Hawking, before he died, also said, like, you better watch what you create, because, you know, and it goes back to what Biehn said.
Skynet.
And, Stephen Hawking, touched on it. Don't be about coulda, be about shoulda.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the cost point now, and you know, come to play with that. I got one more question, and I can sit here for hours, but I want to plan on. If there's good technology, you know, the barrier for the music room being what it is now. Is there a project you had like sitting out there in the book we're going to tell us? I mean,
I've got the type. I know the type. I'll never do that again. And this time I really mean it.
I'm gonna help you. Is there a project that you have bubbling around that you would like to do at this stage?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a story about a young girl, 17, who is very, very strong-minded, very, very independent, lives in a very, very religious community. Church is a big thing for her family, and, you know, in the community itself, it's a big, sometimes more than others, you know, like, I was laughing. Church and
You're right and wrong.
We were right over the words. Yeah.
In so many ways.
Everywhere, yeah. That's what the level is, right?
We're an hour north. Yeah.
So, yeah, very strong minded, and she kind of does what she wants to do. And she gets right. And she lives in Fargo, North. And she gets pregnant, and she decides to go to the home. And she's surrounded by her parents, her family, her everybody in the community, the boy who she gets pregnant with. And it's not a movie that takes a side on a boy. But everybody knows that probably, in my mind, the most difficult decision that like any woman would ever, or any man would ever have to make. You know, it's just like, it's hard to come down. But she, you know, wants to get it done. Now, these days, the government provided health Planned Parenthood. Well, if you go to Alabama, there's one. If you go to Fargo, there's one. If you go to Arizona, there's like 3. If you go, I mean, there's a lot of states around Alabama, you know, a lot of states around where they're not just all over the place. You know, and if you're 17, you don't have any money, what do you do? You know? And so it's about her journey to try to make it to a Planned Parenthood facility. And she's on the other side of the state. But she's very, very, you know, it doesn't play into the stereotype. I mean, it's almost like in the scene where she gets pregnant, she's the aggressor. This kid's kind of like, whoa, you know, like that. well, you know, and so it plays against all stereotypes, and it definitely shows both sides of like kind of the issue. But it's more about this woman. It's really not about the voice. It's about this woman strong, great, one of the best roles I've ever seen for a young woman. You know, it's about her strength, you know, at 17, you know, to be able to, you know, get this done. And it's tough to do because it's hard to find a movie star, a 17-year-old girl. It doesn't happen, you know. And it's probably, maybe $5 million to that Fargo or up in that area. But it's a little bit like when Richardson was thinking about Christ and the Jewish role, like, they're going to do this, and you watch the movie, check it out, well, yeah, this a little bad. He didn't blame one side or the other. Right down the middle. And that's what this is about. It's not about abortion, it's about this woman's character and how strong she is. And she doesn't care what the norm is. She doesn't care what the family thinks. She doesn't care what her boyfriend and his family think. She knows what she wants. She knows what's right for her right now. And she is going to get this done with her. And that's the movie that we've been making a lot of kind of grindhouse, kind of silly, kind of like fun, kind of grindhousey, cheap, really cheap movies. And I'm sick of getting ripped off by these distributors, which is, you know, if you're going to make a movie, if you want to be in the film business, and you have some children and friends who want to be in the film business, just tell them, you know, the studio is where you know, they're all, not all, but a lot of the ones that I've worked with, fucking thieves. That's the great thing about the one democratization of it, is sort of like a jazz, where you can put it on the other platform without it. I didn't know about that. Well, when we're talking about the book, we'll talk about it. That's how you do it. I'm incredibly pleased to have a conversation.
Beautiful, thank you. Once again, please visit the rest of the table if you haven't had a chance to sit by.